I think we're going live. Hello, everybody. It's Stephanie.
And Lindsay.
And as you know, we're from the Curiosity Approach.
We are the founders of All Things Curious.
Correct. And today we're doing a live question and answer session to go through all the queries, questions, things you might want to know about joining the accreditation.
And joining our tribe,
Yeah.
because we have a huge following. So,
let's get started.
Let's get started. What is the accreditation? Let's answer all of your questions of what are the features. So it's a 12-month journey, isn't it, Steph? A 12-month journey where you embark on an online tool. We give you the resources to go away and to audit and reflect upon your setting, and then we give you the solutions to help you embed the practice and the ethos of the Curiosity Approach.
Because you will have seen on social media, Curiosity is everywhere. There's Curiosity cases, Curiosity page. It is phenomenal. I can't even say that word, so I don't even know why I choose to say it. It's going absolutely crackers. And so Lindsay and I came together and we wanted to make an impact.
Absolutely.
We knew that
Times have changed
for our children, and we could see the difference in children coming through our doors from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and we knew that within our settings we were already doing this and we wanted to share it with you. So we got together and all our intellectual intelligence, we just brain dumped it all and thought, how can we deliver it to you? And you can share in this magic as well. You can transform your own settings and impact on as many children as possible.
And all things in the toolkit are from the 50-something years experience that Steph and I have together. So many of you, it is just our pedagogy, and so many of you will have your own pedagogies and know the way you teach and the things that inspire you. But we've put everything into the mix of what's inspired us over our careers and shared it with you all, because for so many of our new practitioners coming through, they don't know about certain pioneers of education and the thoughts of those pioneers, and so we're sharing our knowledge with you guys.
So we created this toolkit to make it as easy as possible for you. We've done all the hard work for you. You know, you can struggle, you can follow us on our Facebook page, you can try and implement it on your own, but why struggle alone when we've got all the materials and you can hear it straight from the horses, both of us mouths, and from work through it. It's a pathway to becoming an accredited setting.
Absolutely. So the features of the toolkit are every 2 months, because as we've told you, it's a 12-month journey. Every 2 months you will get access to a brand new module. And we're going to talk to you about each module and what's involved in each one. But you also get, which is kind of our secret ingredient, access to our online community, because we have a completely separate Facebook page that's closed to the rest of the world, but our tribe of Curiosity Approach settings are all in there. And there we share inspiration, knowledge. We're very active in that community. Whilst we share to the rest of the world each and every day the practice that goes on within our settings, in there we will answer specific questions and really just dig in deep with the community.
And the reason we do it just 3 times a year, this is it, it's for 1 week only, so don't miss out this 1 week only time scale. The reason we do it that way, just because for like children, you're all coming in at the same starting point. You're all coming in to the community together. Just like children, if they were starting midway through a term, that can be quite daunting for them. So everybody comes in this 1 week time slot and they come in together, and together you are on a journey. So if you're a childminder and you're working solely at home, you now belong to a wider tribe, and this is global. This isn't just down to the UK. This is spread across 16 countries, so it's utterly incredible.
Absolutely. And so you get access to all of the online material, all of the intellectual property that Steph and I share with you. You get access to the community, but you also get a surprise each and every month, because we send to you a physical copy of our resource, Curious. And we have one in here. Let's grab one out of the out of the box. So here's Curious, and Curious has been designed purposefully because it opens out into a poster. So this is there for you to use for information for not only your teams, yourself, your parents. It's there for a display purpose. It's there to be used. So you get a different one of these every single month with an ingredient of the Curiosity approach on it. So that's the features of the toolkit generally. We're also registered with and accredited by the CPD standards. We have our own team of internal assessors who have worked with us for many, many years and know what we're about.
And they're there to support.
Absolutely.
Within the Facebook community, that separate Facebook community we talked about, we post questions, others, the settings support each other, they share ideas, information, so you don't have to go trawling all different sites over social media and the web.
You've got a one-stop shop.
That's a great one-stop shop in the academy, and there's comments and suggestions, and so if people are a little bit stuck on a module, and we're going to talk about the modules, the community come together and answer those questions and support each other. It's just great. People come on there and ask for personal phone calls. So I and Lindsay have one-to-one support phone calls, and we just help you on your journey to make change, because we've got to start doing something. Our children are living a sedentary lifestyle. They're not getting outside as much as they used to. They're becoming attached to screens, iPads, TVs. That disconnection with nature. You know, my nurseries many years ago used to have plastic toys, and plastic toys were fine when children were all getting outside. But as I keep saying, life is changing. The the scales have tipped. So we've got to bring something back in. We've got to start making change. It's sparking curiosity, sparking imagination, creativity, and get those brains thinking.
And because, you know, as we know, because we're all early years educators, that these first 5 years of a human being's life is the most important for brain development, and it's so crucial that we get it right in the early years. So crucial. We're not saying that school is not important, because it absolutely is, but this, we all know, is the most important time for brain development.
So this is your why. Why do you need to come on board? And that is an important thing to understand. Why are we doing this? This is about the children at the centre of everything we do. So, shall we?
Yep. Shall we show you what it's like to have access, a little sneak preview of what the online course is about? So, we have a portal, and all of the toolkit is here and waiting for you. So you have access to videos where we talk you through what to do, how to build up your evidence, how to answer questions, etc., etc. You have an introduction section to each one.
There's also videos, so when you sign up, say you've purchased the accreditation, and you'll get an email in your access, you'll sign up, and in there are videos as well, talking you, we'll talk
You'll see right now, you'll see if we go to the screen, this is a video introducing the very first module, so we talk you through what's expected and how to understand what's involved within this module.
Yeah. So there's all those sorts of things, and it's as Lindsay said, there are 6 modules that you work through step by step. We don't bombard you with them all in one hit. They come gradually, because we don't want you to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We
understand, we're real, we have nurseries still.
We understand the daily challenges. We understand that some weeks your feet don't even touch the ground. Our journey, we don't dictate to you how fast you do it.
Just the minimum of 12 months is all that we dictate. It's never going to be sooner than that. It's always going to be 12 months because of the real life things that happen with this. And we want this to be so deeply embedded within your teams that it can only be that time frame.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, here you can see access again to the toolkit and what we've got. So we have the introduction videos for each one. We have an envelope opening ceremony, which would all become clear because you get a bonus box of resources. We have the self-reflection part of the toolkit, where you would look with your team, or if you're working alone, you would look at your environment, find out all the things that, you know, we talk about, answer those questions.
As you know, reflection is a huge part of early years, and you need to look at where you're at now, where you are now, and where you want to get to. And so through the reflection toolkit, your team come together, or you as a childminder come and have a look and really think deeply, where are we, what are we doing now, and what sort of changes do we want to make?
Absolutely.
And so that's the reflection.
And once you've reflected, then we also then give you, like Stephanie said, we've done so much of the work for you, because we give you solutions, like a basic solutions to make sure this is part of your practice. These things are there. We need this, or we need to do that, and we need to grab some evidence for this. It's all there, the solutions.
It's not guesswork. You know, you can come on our main Facebook page, and we share inspiration and we share ideas. But the accreditation toolkit gives you the step-by-step.
Yeah.
This isn't you becoming carbon copies of us.
Oh, absolutely.
This is, and many of our settings in the accreditation are all different. Packaway settings, childminders, schools, all sorts. We've even had hospitals enroll now. You know, they're all completely different, and your staff are different, your children are different. So you implement it based on the children and that you have within your setting, and it will keep rolling, and you'll keep developing.
Absolutely, absolutely that. And so after you've done the self-reflection and reflected on where you're at, we give you the solutions to embed within your approach, but you'll set yourself some actions, because you will answer some of the questions and be like, actually, no, we don't do that, or no, we haven't got that. So that would form an action, and then you implement the action, and you just grab your evidence along the way, grab pictures of changes that you've made, or videos. You know, we're very, very, what's the word? We're not prescriptive of how you gather the evidence, because we have our own portals where you can either physically send stuff or upload stuff to us, so we can capture this evidence in a variety of tools.
Some people like a physical document and like to have it, so they present it in their foyers or their receptions, and it's a real good evidence document that parents, and if Ofsted, if you have Ofsted or other governing bodies can come and see, or as Lindsay said, you can do it online.
Just actually answer the questions, save your work, you know, pull all your evidence together, and there you go. So let's share with you the titles of each one of the modules, so you get an idea of what the modules are about and how they come to you in order. So first of all, you have Module 1 is all about your environment.
It's the biggest one.
The biggest one of all. The environment as the third teacher, you know, a big ingredient from the Reggio approach, and the environment as the third teacher. So it's the right place that we have to start. Because the Curiosity approach isn't just about beautiful play spaces at all, but your environment serves as one of your biggest resources.
If you get your environment right, it is the majority of the work for you. You know, your children become more deeply engaged. Independent.
Curious.
That's right, yeah. So your environment is the most important.
And Module 2 is about open-ended resources and why that is so important. And like what Stephanie said, times have changed. We're now in the technological age, and our children's futures are going to be very different. Their jobs are going to be very different to what we're experiencing now. And we know how fast this part of the technological age has happened to us. You know, we can reflect back on our childhood without technology, but we've seen the changes of since technology came into play, and so the use of open-ended resources is so important.
And I like to use the phrase, you know, when you allow children to use open-ended resources, they become pilots in their own play. They choose the direction that their learning, their play is going to take. When you use open-ended resources, those schematic learning styles, again, the children are at the centre of everything we do. When you have a closed resource like a plastic toy manufactured, it's designed to be used in a specific way. When you have a plastic manufactured toy for a baby that has buttons and lights and music, the more a toy does, the less opportunity a baby has to think when they're looking at it, you know, and is it becoming more of an entertainment thing than allowing a child to investigate, be curious, and it's, you know, passively involved
Absolutely.
with that piece of equipment. So open-ended resources just allow children to use their own curiosity, their own thinking, and they take their learning in play in a whole direction that perhaps we hadn't even considered.
And their environments are prepared for them, almost their style of learning, their schematic ways that they learn. The environment serves them rather than them having to be done too. So that's Module 2. Module 3 is about invitations to learning. And we do deeply believe in having beautiful environments. It's important because we love the quote from Anita Ruiols to say that children are miracles and worthy of, you know, walking into that space each day like it's being prepared for the miracle that enters
and
it.
It shows the respect, the reverence and respect we have for children, and when we care for something, an environment, it shows those subliminal messages that we are going that extra mile to provide these beautiful play spaces. And beauty is an innate need of humans. You know,
absolutely. Module 4 is about high expectations, because you should have high expectations for everybody, for everybody who is within your setting, whether you're a lone worker, whether, you know, a home educator, or whether you work with a team of people. Regardless of your expectations should be high. And how do you achieve that for the children that come into your setting? You know, touching on what we touched on in the previous module, it's what Maria Montessori says: a child absorbs everything that's going on around them. And so high expectations leads into that.
I think one of the things that most and all, I can say all because they've all said it, you know, is one of the things they say about the changes made is how their staff have, oh my gosh, their enthusiasm, their motivation, their passion has been ignited since being on the accreditation. They've had a drive within them to just achieve more, and they're all coming together, that teamwork. And because they have an end goal, they know the direction that they take. One of the things we didn't mention before was our bonus module that we talk about, are your team on the bus? And getting your team all on the bus together, working towards the same direction, and high expectations.
Module 5 is all about the senses. So you will have touched on this within the environment module, but now it's going deeper and really looking at your practice and your environment and what's happening, and going deeper into encompassing all of the...
You know, many of the same colours, those primary colours, when we introduce those open-ended resources, loose parts, recycled materials, everything is different. You can see the range of items we have on the front. So the curiosity approach is about stimulating those senses.
Because as humans we have a deep connection with nature, and you know, and as advances in our resources have changed over the past years, and with plastic being introduced many years ago, and it served its purpose then, but we are born with an innate connection to things that have been living. And natural objects will have once been living in some kind of way, where plastic comes from the oil and mineral family, which has no living organisms in it, and so it doesn't have that same connection, and they're things that are so important, those subliminal messages that we're giving to our children.
There's huge research on this. I was only reading this a few days ago. Huge research on this. Scientist talks about biophilia, the disconnection, how children now, it's impacting on their development when they're having that disconnection to nature.
Absolutely.
So this is all based on research. This isn't anything new. This isn't fad. This isn't, you know, this is, we have got to wake up. We have got to start making a change, and our world is being swamped with plastic. We don't need any more supply and demand. Our homes are full of resources that you can be bringing into your settings and using on a day-to-day basis for real life. Maria Montessori you've seen it. Children coming into your settings that pick up a book and try and swipe it. You know, we've got to get the love of storytelling. And I like to say, how can a child ever write a story when they're at school 7, 8, 9, 10? If they've never imagined a story. And through the use of ceramics, little trinkets and pottering about, they can use their imagination.
And be part of the storytelling process.
The first 7 years of life, the right-hand side of the brain is all about the imagination and creativity. So we need to promote that and get that working.
Absolutely. So there are 6 modules, and that's what you'll be given every 2 months. And it's fine if you haven't completed one and the next one arrives, because this is your journey.
Yes.
Your journey is your journey, nobody else's. And so it's absolutely fine to take it in the pace that you need to get everybody on board, or just if you're, again, like working alone, to feel that you're part of a team, of a tribe. And so that's where we can talk to you about a bit more about our community, because we've told you we have our secret ingredient, our community. But our community is really special. They're our tribe. We have over 2,000 educators in that community, so it's growing and growing and growing. And as this week ends, then all of the new people will begin to join, and it will be party week next week for us.
You must have seen only yesterday the post we put out about squirrels. They had their Ofsted, and they were
not squirrels.
No,
squirrels.
Squirrels
childcare.
That they were celebrating because they had their Ofsted inspection, and they were awarded outstanding. And how the Ofsted inspector had made a comment that they had recently changed their curriculum, and that the children were curious and investigating. And so that's a great,
Absolutely. And we get many, many questions asking whether or not we are, is this just for the UK?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
This is for the world, and we have 16 countries currently. We have educators in 16 countries around the world who are using the toolkit, and who are actually only yesterday Singapore had their very first setting accredited.
Yes.
So Tanglin School Nursery.
Congratulations
yeah,
to
absolutely.
you.
Congratulations. The very first setting in Singapore were accredited yesterday. So that's amazing. So no, this is not for...
We're in New Zealand, we've got Ireland.
We had educators from Malta come a couple of weeks ago to come and look round our settings.
We've got Australia following us at the moment. So if you're an educator in another part of the world, this accreditation fits any government.
We haven't written it to just be designed for one regulatory body. Obviously, we are in the UK, and Ofsted is ours, and we'll talk about that when we go into risk assessments a little bit later, because we've got some questions to answer. But we haven't written it around those things. This is just about pedagogy and, early childhood.
And how you can start to make a change, and how you can start to implement the curiosity approach pedagogy based on, we've taken inspiration from not all the great pioneers, so many of the great pioneers. This is
and recent ones too, that we're constantly being inspired by people, and add it into the pot to add a new ingredient.
We just want to bring a rejuvenation, a re-energy to early years, and it's a modern day approach to bring it to you guys.
Yeah. So we'd like to hear some positive words from our Academy tribe of what it's been like for them. We've been sharing this week on Facebook people's journeys, of how it's felt for them, and those who are just recently being accredited, and just sharing some of their success stories. But there's some positive words from the tribe telling you what it feels like.
And how's it impacted on their individual settings.
And hopefully some will be on the questions and answers and can add into to ask, if you ask something directly, they'll be able to answer what it feels like from that side too. And when you start working on the accreditation, you get this. You get the logo.
Oh, you get this, working towards our accreditation. So you can let your parents, carers know what you're up to. You can signpost them to the Curiosity Approach main page, and you can shout to the world that you are doing this.
Absolutely.
Because this,
can you see that on the screen? Can you see our logo?
yeah, so this is
That's the one.
something to be proud of, because you're working towards becoming an accredited setting.
And then the magic happens. Once you've got through it,
yeah, you get this beauty, and this can go on all your documentation. It can go on the bottom of your emails, and we really, want you to celebrate the achievement to becoming an accredited setting, because it is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah.
Because by the end of this journey, you will look back to where you were previously. Only in our academy page yesterday, Night and Day Nursery shared pictures, images of their setting at the start of their journey, and shared images at their, I'm not going to say the end because it isn't the end,
but where they're at now.
Yeah, and she said, we used to think we were amazing, and it was amazing, she said, but wow, we are hitting the roof now.
And when we do, because we do we do surveys within the academy to see what's happening for our settings, and see what are the outcomes, what happens what are the benefits, what's happening by doing the toolkit.
Because this is ultimately to help the children, to make an impact on as many children as possible, to, all those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skills for life, handling risks, managing risks, all those.
But the two biggest ones always are that they've noticed the change in the behaviour of the children. Everything calms down. And also the attitudes of the staff team and how that changes. They're always the two biggest
they say
changes.
How children spend huge amounts of time concentrating, spending longer engaged, and that, and I use the word curiosity, their curiosity is sparked, and it leads on to so many other things. And the team roll with it. They're constantly evolving and looking at the interests of the child. Again, the children are at the centre of everything we do. The children are at the centre, and they look and take them. And, that quality teaching and learning, scaffolding, supporting, demonstrating, all those things of quality in teaching and learning is embedded within the curiosity approach.
Okay, absolutely. So I think we better get answering some questions.
Can I have a quick drink?
You can have a quick drink. I've got some questions here, and we can see some. So please forgive me, because I'm going to be looking down at our screen to see what's happening. I can see one from Sophie here to say, hi both, I've got a question. How easy is it to switch onto the curiosity approach? Do you need to gradually bring it into your nursery or switch straight away?
Most definitely. This is a gradual process. Please don't just go into your settings one weekend and completely clear all your plastic out. Where are you going to... You can't bin it. That would just be criminal. We're talking about looking after the planet, and you can't just bin all your plastic. But gradually, over time, you can start to bring in those loose parts, open-ended resources. And as children stop playing with the car track or the plastic garage, you can remove those and donate them to someone else, give them to charity, or any way that you feel would benefit from them, and gradually over time. Because how would you feel? I've said this on an evening with the curiosity approach. How would you feel if one evening you came home from work and somebody had been in your house and completely cleared it out and put in everything that they wanted? You wouldn't know where anything is. You wouldn't know where to find anything. You take months to settle some of your children. Yeah. So this has got to be a gradual process. This isn't our environment. This is their environment. And again, the children are at the centre of everything we do. So this is a gradual process. Do it step by step, bit by bit. And understanding child development, you've got to understand why you're doing it and how the ages and stages of child development and how making those changes impacts on these
It's
children.
almost the very reason why in the UK it's called the early years foundation stage, because the stronger the foundations are, the better it is. We were listening to me reading a poem today previously, and we had a little giggle. But basically, it's about a tree, and the stronger the roots are, the greater the tree will be. And so it's about getting those firm foundations into place. So that's why it has to be gradual, because the tree starts as the little seed. It doesn't get those big roots and strongness deeply into the ground.
It's so important you understand why we're doing this. Child development, brain development, how it impacts and how you can facilitate learning and take it step by step further and deeper and support these children to achieve more.
Absolutely. So I'll just have a look at this. Let me just double check here.
So we have. So one of the questions.
Let's do Kirsten's first. Yeah.
So I'll read this. I've got my glasses on. How do you risk assessment your home living accessories that help create such a comforting feeling of home in your setting? For example, photo frames, mirrors, lamps and lighting, for settings with less space for displaying and storing. Any tips on creating an effective, inviting space?
Oh yes, obviously that's featured as part of our toolkit. It's featured about because we are big advocates of ensuring that your setting looks like an extension of a child's home rather than a watered-down version of a school, because our children that we're serving in the early years are babies, you know?
They are, yeah. And sadly, children are being pressured. You know, they go to school really early in the UK, most definitely, and they're better off at home. So what better place, what better thing than we create a home-like environment for our children,
said,
not an institutional feel.
No, because times have changed and children can spend, you know, 12 hours in some settings a day, 10, 12 hours, 5 days a week. And it's so important that that feels like a home-like setting more than an academic setting. And so it's, you know, there are, obviously the toolkit helps you, but it's just, you know, furnishings, cushions, soft lighting. You know, you've asked about risk assessing for those things. Well, those things will just be done in the same way that you would risk assess anything else. You know, you're not going to leave... if you're not comfortable with mirrors, you could use
acrylic mirrors.
Take glass out of frames if you're framing things. Your lamps and your lights will all be tested like everything else that runs by electricity.
You have these items within your home. Obviously, in early years, we have to risk assess everything. It's imperative. We risk assess everything we do. But you can do this and bring that hoogie. I never know how to say it. So, so you can bring those elements into your settings, but by risk assessing and judging. And risk assessments, if you're in a nursery, share it amongst yourselves. If you're in the academy, they ask those questions and we all input ideas.
And we would never... There's another question here from asking, how do you ensure you've all recorded all risk assessments, or do you have a blanket statement? No, we don't.
We don't give blanket generic risk assessments,
because we have to follow, and we'll share it on the slide, you know, we have to follow here in the UK the foundation stage. We have to follow out the statutory guidance, and this is what the statutory guidance says around risk assessment. So that's so important that you take that responsibility on for yourselves, because we don't know your environment. We can't give you a blanket.
We don't know specifically what you're introducing, so how can we give a risk assessment? And also, I think when you give out a risk assessment, people don't actually think. They just think, oh, it's done, pop it in the file. When you have your team have ownership of it, and amongst themselves they've discussed it, and what you feel comfortable in, and also you need to look at the benefits of providing certain resources as well.
To manage those, I just have emailed mine and I've had a statement back to say, you know, I've explained why, I've explained the benefits, explained what we do, and it's not an issue of what the resources that we use.
And make sure the resources that you use are age and stage appropriate. You know, you don't take risks. You know, they've got to be age and stage appropriate, and that's why we don't just give a blanket risk assessment, because it's so imperatively important.
Which kind of leads us on to the next question from Emma. And Emma runs a toddler group where she uses recycled and natural resources as much as possible. but she gets a lot of things broken, teapots and china figures, etc. Do you have any advice on how to prevent this?
So many of you have seen that in our Curiosity Approach settings, we have the items like these, ceramic, I'm just going to lift it up, ceramic teapots and not plastic teapots. We're most definitely not saying that just one Monday morning or one day you suddenly decide, I'm going to do that. Because I guarantee you, you put this in your home corner, your role play with 24 children, 6 children, 3 children even, and you step away. Guaranteed within a few moments, you won't have a handle, you won't have a spout. Why? Because the children have never handled one before, they've never had the opportunity to play with one before. This is going to take time. This isn't a quick process. This is going to gradually, with the support of a mindful practitioner, supporting children, showing them, modelling to them how we handle it.
I've got a picture, I think.
Gradually, bit by bit, the children become more confident and more capable. Obviously, to begin with, you might want to use some stainless steel for your babies and toddlers that you leave out. This isn't wipeable, but to begin with, you can't just put out your ceramic tea sets and not expect any breakages. The children have got to gain confidence in how to handle it and understand that when, you know, it tips up, the lid may fall up. These are all skills that you are going to help them learn and manage.
Yeah. And so the one that Stephanie has here, if you could just show that this is like more of an earthenware.
Yeah, so this is a much thicker, a lot more robust teapot. You know, your bone china isn't going to last very long because it's wafer thin. So stainless steel.
Because it's key to this is the staff being there and being present, being in the moment with them, not overpowering them, letting the children understand and work these things out for themselves. They need to be there to be almost doing that risk assessment of what's going on and how are they using things and modelling how to use
because children won't understand something like this to play with. They assume that they can bash this down, but there is a consequence. So by introducing ceramics, we're helping children understand consequences and how to respect and look after the equipment and the resources. Because how can they look after the planet that we live on if they can't look after the equipment and the resources?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jess, she's asking the question about motivating a team to understand the benefits of curiosity. So we've told you that within this toolkit, we have the bonus module of Are Your Team on the Bus. And that's setting your culture for your team from the outset of what you need to do if you haven't got all of your team together on your bus, going towards that end goal. So that's there in the tool.
Pulling them all together and starting with their why.
Absolutely.
Why are we doing this? Why do we need to make change?
Absolutely. So Emma is asking, she's a nursery manager, and myself and my team are really interested in joining your accreditation scheme. I have put it to our committee, but they are concerned about costs and what we get for this money. Could you please give me some further details to pass on to them regarding fees, and is it just a one-off payment or a yearly payment? So just to cover the payment part, we have two options, either a one-off payment or if you need to spread the cost monthly to ease, you know, any issues or whatever, just cash flow. Then there's another option of 12 monthly payments, and it's just that once that's done, it's all done and paid for.
And Lindsay Allen here asks, and how long does the accreditation last for once completed?
It lasts for 3 years.
So the reason it doesn't last for any longer than that is we need to check back in with you. Your management may change, your staff may change, and slowly, bit by bit, the culture within your setting or the pedagogy has started to dwindle. So we check back in with you. Well, we'll be checking in with you all the time because you'll be in our academy. But we check back in with you and we do a video, a tour of your setting, and we just ensure that you're still all on the same journey.
So just to go back for Emma's part about putting this to the committee and what do you actually get for your money. So we've told you get access to the toolkit, the 6 modules, and all of the supporting information that goes with them. But you also get a bonus box of resources, and inside there, we don't want to spoil it too much for all of our people.
Do you want that one?
Yeah, I have this one first. So you get a folder so you can put your evidence in if you wish to keep it all in a structured way. Some people like to keep a scrapbook journal, and that's absolutely fine, but you get this as part of the...
There are some other things in here.
You get the book.
Yeah.
You get our book, The A to Z of the Curiosity Approach. Again, this was written with intent of how we did this, so you can dip in and dip out, because we know you can't sit there in your day and read a book from cover to cover. However, you can dip in when you know it's alphabetical.
And I'm a visual learner, so I like to just look at photos, get inspiration and learn in that way and see how things are done.
And then we also, if you just pass me, I'm just gonna get one of these out. Let's just do a little swap. You also get 7 envelopes in there, and each one tells you when you can open it, because it corresponds with what's going on inside the toolkit. But inside there is a bit of fun, but a bit of fun for all of your team, and to make sure that you're all
that motivation
on track.
going. Keep that motivation going, keep that spark, that energy going, because working in early years can be stressful, physically and mentally, and we need to have that energy, that passion, that drive. And so these game cards come and you open them,
and you can use them for your staff meetings to just pull everybody back on track. So you get one of those for every module. So not only do we give you the online stuff and the virtual stuff, we're also giving you physical content to support with the learning. So we hope that answers it, Emma, that's what you get, and obviously 50 years worth of our brains. Too. Let's have a... go on, yes.
Which one are you on?
No, you go.
Can I ask which, with the modules, how many hours do they take? Just being able to literally fit it into my job and being a mum.
It's again a bit of a difficult one to answer, because again it depends upon your setup. You know, whether you're just somebody working alone or it's a team working, and then it changes the dynamics. But we believe that if you answered just 1 to 2 questions a day, gathered a photograph and a bit of supporting evidence, 20 minutes, if that.
Some settings do it, have a slot once a month in their staff meetings if you're a nursery.
And then pull it together.
And what they do is they cascade a solution, and they want the evidence, and they cascade, and they set a commitment to the team. Right, in this month, we're going to complete this part, this question. I want you to provide the evidence, and everybody's sparked up and enthusiastic, and off they go. Because if you're working in a nursery or a school, it's a whole team approach. So they all go off and do bits, and it can be stick-it notes. You can be writing stick-it notes if you're a childminder, jotting down stick-it notes, save them. That's all your ideas of how you're implementing change.
But those high expectations, again, that you have of your staff team, that you have of yourself, reflects back into this, and reflects back into your commitment to how deeply do you want this? How deeply do you want to make the changes for the children? How deeply do you want to be recognised as doing this journey and being part of it all, and the hard work that you will have put in too?
And the impact, oh my gosh, the impact. We perhaps won't see enormous.
They did in the vision. Look, we've answered Jennifer. Do you offer this accreditation to those of us in the United States? Absolutely. If you're just joining us or you haven't heard, then absolutely. The toolkit is written in English, so if you're a non-English speaking country, then that's where there could be an issue at this point in time. So it is in 16 countries, and some of those countries are not English speaking. So yes, absolutely, this is available to the world.
Lindsay, Alan, do you have any mini training courses or talks organised? Well, we've done a number of
on the road
evenings with the Curiosity, and we are going to be doing more, and we've got some exciting things lined up later.
Yeah, absolutely. We will continue to meet as many as we can of you all with our evenings with the Curiosity approach and answer questions directly there. But yeah, so yeah, absolutely. Hannah, I'm a childminder, and this will be a big investment to myself, not just financially, but also with my time. Can I ask how the course is completed? So let's answer that part first. So it's completed, as we've shown you, it's online. You would download the information we give you. You can either print it off and handwrite it, if that's you're more comfortable with that, or you can type in and save it. So either way is fine. Are there assignments? No. You're answering our questions. That's what you have to do.
The modules. You don't have to go anywhere. So if you're a childminder, you do it all in the comfort of your own home at a time that suits you, a time and a place that suits you. How
are the changes I make within my setting validated? Are you talking about?
So I'm not really sure. So you will validate the changes. There is, without a doubt, changes that are going to happen. Without a doubt, you will see the impact.
Again, if we flick back to, I'll put this on the screen, so while we're talking, you can have a read of the words of our tribe.
The children are going to benefit from you implementing the Curiosity approach. We have just created a toolkit to make the journey easy for you. We're giving you intellectual property so you don't have to do it alone. This isn't guesswork, and you can get there quicker, because you can follow our Facebook page, you can implement change, but why not, as we've said before, hear it from us, the creators and the founders of the Curiosity approach, and the outcomes will blow your mind. Honestly, the calmness of your setting, the engagement of your children, it's just incredible to see how they develop.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're talking about who is it accredited by, in that sense, we're not quite sure, so we'll answer that.
We have our own assessors at the end, and who
are all qualified too. And also we are accredited by the CPD standards. So we've gone through different sets of ways of the toolkit becoming an accredited toolkit. So I think we've answered everything on here.
So this question here from Chloe: how much will it cost me to revamp my nursery? So this, as I said, is a gradual process. The beauty of the Curiosity approach is that all this stuff is easily found from nature, bringing in sticks, stones, shells, wooden cookies. This doesn't have to cost the earth. I opened my nursery 2.5 years ago, and the entire nursery was kitted out with recycled, salvaged, second-hand
somebody else's trash. Is definitely our treasure.
And so this isn't going to cost you the earth. We're not saying bin all your plastic. You've spent thousands of pounds on resources, but gradually, bit by bit, when you start to introduce those loose parts, open-ended resources, the other stuff won't be played with, you know, and children will lose interest because they are getting so much more out of the open-ended resources.
I'm just checking we haven't got any questions here. Nope.
I think that's
it. So that's our question and answers.
I hope we've answered everything.
Absolutely.
What are you waiting for? The doors close on Friday. They're going to shut.
And that's
so we are waiting for you in the Academy page. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and
we'll continue answering questions if anything pops up later on in the.
And we'll see you soon. Thanks
a lot.
Bye.